Alright, what we have here is a fat tire, a surly rim. Let's see if you can see it there. And it's a clownshoe. And then I have a surly bud tire. And see if we can get there. And it's a 4.8. Now my goal is to get it to go tubeless. And I have accomplished that. Oh, come on. With the rear tire on my Specialized Fatboy. And I did that with the same rim. It's a clownshoe rim. And it's a Surly Lou 4.8. And I'm going to show you what I did to get it to go tubeless. And it was pretty effortless. It takes a little bit of time, but as far as difficulty-wise, I was very happy with how it turned out. So what I did, let's see, are we centered there? Basically what I did was, first I have the Hope Pro Fat Snow hub, and that's the 150 millimeter hub to fit my Bluto front fork. And on the rear I have the Hope Pro Fat Snow 2, and I had that laced up. And I've already begun the process by putting in, of course, the red rim strip, and taped up the rim itself, put in a regular size fat tire tube, and put the tire on and inflated it really about to 25 psi. And I did that yesterday and let that sit for a day so I can get the bead to sit. And I'll show you what I did is I used this Gorilla tape, and I used just that Home Depot black Gorilla tape, and I believe this is the let's see what size is that. That is 2.5 inch size. Get some of these tools out here. So I'm going to show what I did on this rim, and again I put the just put the rim tape on. Of course I started with a new one since the one that was here was pretty well indented from this rim, and I'm sure there's a zillion easy ways to do this, but I'm not going to make this perfect. Just going to get it on there. So I've got the rim strip on, and then I just took the tape and I just made 2 revolutions, one on each side. So, and I got it right at the lip. Started at the stem hole, and I got it right at, let's see if I can get it close, right at the edge. So it actually was just under the lip. And I went around on this side, overlapped the stem hole about 1.5 inches, and then I did the same thing on the other side. Again, got it right on the edge without going up, just under the lip. And I went around that side so I had full coverage of the rim. On both sides, all the holes were covered. I then took one piece about 3 inches and just put that right over the stem hole. And however you want to do it, I just used a pick, dug a hole, opened it up a little bit, got my tubeless stem, widened the hole, mounted the tire like you would any other tire, mounted the tube into the tire just like you would a standard tire, and inflated it. So now what I'm going to do is the process of taking one side bead off, pulling the tube out without breaking the other bead, and I'm going to put 10 ounces of stands and then reinflate. So here we go. All right. So I'm going to try this on the not opposite of the brake for no particular reason. Let's let the air out of the tube. I'm going to do it fairly slow so that I don't break the bead too fast. So again, this is a Surly clownshoe 100mm rim and a Surly Bud 4.8 folding 120 ppi tire. On the rear I've got the Surly glue, and they say they're front and rear specific, but you can put them on either front or rear. It just depends on how you rotate the tire. I have my front rotated for speed instead of traction, and the rear I've got it set up for some good traction. I guess they call it cornering. But since I'm not doing any crazy, aggressive, muddy, snowy downhills, I'm just in the desert. Going for the speed is on the front is what I'm looking for. As you can tell, that's a lot of volume. Okay. Again. Wow. So I'm going to keep the bead on this side, it looks like. Save that for later. And I'm just going to work this around and carefully remove this. Try not to damage the tape I have in there. I'm trying to leave as much in as I can. I just need enough to pull this tube out. So far the other bead is intact. Alright, success. Put the core in later, and now let's go back to putting this bead in. I didn't use any soap or all that fun stuff that is recommended. Okay, I forgot to put the stem in, but that was no big deal. Just pushed down a little bit on this side and was able to pop it right in. Mountain bike, regular mountain bike rim, you wouldn't be able to do that. Or I wouldn't be able to do it without pulling the entire tire off. So I'm going to let gravity help out here to seat that bead. Still got a little bit of memory, so I hope I can get it to seat. I've got it as close to the edge as I can get it. And we're going to try to inflate it. Alright, it's going to get loud. Got a pressed inflator, very helpful. The investment. So again, I don't know if you heard that, but it was a good pop. So now I've got the core back in, and it looks like the bead set all around. Took a little bit of finagling. Like again, the good news was that having the tube in the tire took the memory out of that folding tire, sealed the bead that I didn't undo to pull the tube out, and that bead held nicely. And I had to do some squeezing, some pulling, little tugging, and definitely having it turned horizontal, letting gravity help hold that bead down. It was just a little bit of pressure was enough to get it to seat enough to fill the air. And once you break that point where you get more air than is escaping, you can get that other bead to seat. So now we should get it up to snuff here. And I'm going to fill this up nice and tight, probably about 25 psi before I pull the core out and put the sealant in. That's not. It's holding air nicely. Okay, a little bit more air in there. So I let it sit. I am losing air, but very slowly. So let's let the sealant do its magic, and we're going to do this again because I have to let the air out to get the sealant in, obviously. And hopefully I don't lose the bead. So I'm going to go as slow as I can. Get in my belly. I've read anywhere from 8 ounces to 12 ounces. I split the difference and went 10. And so far the 10 has worked perfectly on the rear tire. I took it out riding on a nice 12-mile ride at a Blue Diamond, Nevada, and I haven't had to put air in that rear tire since I did the initial inflation. So I got that going for me. I just got off a 12-hour shift at work, and I'm doing this in hopes that in the morning after I do a cycle class at the gym, I can go on a test ride. I definitely want to ride as soon as possible. Normally I'd skip a cycle class, but there's a hot chick that's supposed to be there tomorrow, and we were going to meet up, so I'm not going to miss that. Oh, yes. Last little bit of Frappuccino. To catch any drippings. it's just raw. Cores in. Stem's tight. Let's go back up. That's the way it's supposed to do it. Alright, so recap. Surly clownshoe, 100mm rim, Surly Bud 4.8 tire. Put a tube in, inflated it to about 25 psi overnight. 24 hours later, kept one bead on. Slowly broke the other bead, pulled the tube out, put the stem in, and finagled it enough to get both beads to seat. Filled it up, let it sit. Took the core out, dumped 10 ounces of stands in, and here we are. Of course, obviously before that I put the Gorilla Tape, 2.5-inch version, one on each side of the rim, and that was in obviously before the tube. Feels like I'm losing a little bit of air. I'm not really sure. But I don't see any stands anywhere, so that's a good sign. Now I'm just going to let it sit on the side, on its side, for about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to come back, flip it to the other side, and put the rotor on. So apparently I had a big giant clot in the nozzle of my syringe. That's why that last little bit wouldn't push through. Must have been a clot from inside the tube. Or the bottom of those stands. Alright, so I let that sit on that side for about 5 minutes. Still no stands leaking from any holes or the stem, so success there. And I'm going to let it sit on this side for about 5 minutes. Alright, so I let it sit on this side, the opposite side. I put about 5 more psi in, and this is what I was expecting to see the first time. I got a couple of squirts of stands coming out of the bead, and this was the loose bead, and I expected that, and I was hoping to see that, and now that I have, I'm very glad to know that I got it at a high enough psi to work that stands into the bead. Oh yeah, I forgot the final step. Take the cap for the stem. There we go.